Hello, my name is Ignacio Armengol. I am a responsible for the foundation of Barcelona Capital Nàutica. This is the foundation that after I will explain what is the competence. Uh, Today in this round table, I hope that we can understand fully what means the Americans Cup competition for Barcelona. First of all, I would like to introduce the colleagues that will explain and will be in this roundtable. First of all, Leslie Ryan. She is the director of operations for the organizer, the Americans Cup Evans Barcelona from New Zealand team. After Michel O'Hara, he's the responsible for all the team of Alinghi Red Bull, the Switzerland team. And after Mac Dalton, he is responsible for the regatta of women's and youth, and as well the responsible for the sponsoring develop in the team New Zealand and for the organizer. Then let me explain in a few minutes what is the foundation. The Foundation Barcelona Capital Nàutica is the place where all the administrations and the private personnel who has worked to try to bring Americans Cup in Barcelona is working from the last month of 2021. In only 7-8 months, the Barcelona city has become in the host of the event of Americans Cup 37 2024 in Barcelona. Then, what are these administrations? We have the council, the city council. We have the port of Barcelona and the Cambra de Comerç that were part of the foundation from the beginning, and after has income the Generalitat, the central government of Spain with the Minister of Sports and Culture, and as well the deputation, the administration of the province, and as well the tourism department of the Council of Barcelona. Then we are 8 institutions with Barcelona Global. This is a private institution who has helped to run with the rest of administrations to get the Americans Cup in Barcelona. Then, after to understand that the foundation is currently working to facilitate at the organizer the New Zealand teams, I will begin to ask Leslie, as responsible for the operations, that she explain us what are these competence of organizer of this event, to understand well why they have in this position, and to understand well that the Americans Cup begin every year when you are winning one Americans Cup, you are the organizer of the following one. Then I begin to asking for this part of the system of how we have the governance of Americans Cup at Leslie. Leslie, please explain us how Americans Cup has arrived at Barcelona, and what are the main objective and goals for the organizer team for Barcelona.
Hola a todos. So I'm Leslie Ryan. I'm the event director for the 37th America's Cup. Just a little bit of explanation. I'm not sure how many experts we have in the room, but the America's Cup, it started in 1851. So it's the oldest international sporting trophy that's still in competition today. It's only been won by 4 countries. So America was the one who won it for many years, back in 1851. New Zealand, where Mac and I both work for the New Zealand team. Alinghi, Switzerland were the winners before. And Australia. So very unusual. Only 4 nations have ever won it. But also quite interestingly, only 9 host venues have ever hosted it. So Barcelona joins a very exclusive group. And Barcelona was chosen in March of this year, 2022, to be the host venue for the next America's Cup. That was the end of a long process of looking for a new venue. I think we started with 60 venues on a list. And that gradually got whittled down to a final 4, and we made the selection of Barcelona, as I say, at the end of March 2022, and it was a great decision. Everyone's very happy, and we're certainly all very happy to be here. In terms of how it works, as Ignacy said, the team that wins, basically it's called the biggest prize in sport, because the team that wins everything. It wins the right to host the next edition, to organize it. It wins the right to decide on the rules, the design of the boat, everything basically, where it is, when it is, the format of racing. So it's a big prize. And in this occasion, Emirates Team New Zealand won in March 2021, and they're the ones who've made the decision to bring the America's Cup to Barcelona. So it's an exciting time. For us, we're called America's Cup Events, the name of the company, America's Cup Event Barcelona. We're now a Spanish company, and we have an office here in Barcelona. And our job is to plan, organize, manage, deliver the event which will take place between August and October 2024.
Thank you, Leslie, very much for this first answer. After I will introduce Michel O'Hara. He's the responsible for all the team Alinghi Red Bull, and the first question for him is that he can explain us all the long experience in this regatta for the Alinghi, and as well personally for him to understand what means America's Cup in Barcelona for one person from him that in a long experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. So the America's Cup is very special in that sense, is that it's an event where people move for a long time. And when they move, they very often move with the family. And the expertise you're looking in an America's Cup team comes from everywhere. So although Alinghi Red Bull Racing is a Swiss team, we have, probably a dozen of nationality working for the team. People that are coming from New Zealand, from Australia, the US, Switzerland, obviously. And all these people are gathering here towards Barcelona. And so it's a very interesting experience because very often they have kids. And we're talking about, ultimately the team is probably going to be about 150 people. And today, of those, probably about 100 are coming really from abroad. And so you have to imagine 100 families coming in the place, having to look for apartments, for schools, for everything that is actually organized here today. And that is very the specific aspect of the America's Cup, because it moves as a community. It's not one in, one out. They come and they stay. So I had the privilege to do a few America's Cup before. I went to New Zealand, I went to Valencia a few years ago. Now here in Barcelona, very, very happy because it's a city I love. And it's a big city, so we have resources. We can find a lot of things. So obviously the people that have been hired already a year ago that are very specific in design, very specific in boat construction, are people that we wouldn't find in a place anywhere we go. So those people are hired already for a long time. But all the job that will be open now will be taken, a lot of this job will be taken locally, because we want to have a Spanish flavor into the team. We want to blend into the community of Barcelona. The base that we're going to have and that we've chosen is the ex-Cinesa, so across next to Aquarium. So we'll be right in the middle of the city, and we want to make it a place to welcome people. So you have to imagine the challenge today. It's to to get all these people organized, find school, find apartments, as I said. And it's not always easy. And if you put on top of that all the administrative issues and getting the permit, getting the sorting the tax system for everyone, this is really where we are now.
Thank you, Michel. Uh, Finally, I want to introduce Mac Dalton. He's responsible for the youth and women regatta. And I want to begin with the first question to ask him if you can explain, Mac, why and when you have decided of a team, first the young, that not is the first time, but the women regatta will be the first. How you have decided, and what are the special value that for you are in this?
Hola a todos. Thank you very much for having us. First of all, sorry, before I answer that question, I just want to say, being at other America's Cups, in the past, and then arriving here, it's not just something to say. I sincerely mean it when I say I could not think of a better city to have the America's Cup than Barcelona. We've been made to feel so welcome as the event organizers. The local administrations have been unbelievable up to this point. So just thank you to the city of Barcelona. Has been amazing so far. But to answer your question, so this will be the first ever Women's America's Cup. There have been Youth America's Cups in the past, but as you'll notice from looking at previous editions, it's been a male-dominated sport, and other than Olympics, there hasn't really been a pathway program to develop female talent in the sport. So enabling women to sail in the AC40s, which are the smaller boat AC40s, and then the AC75s are what we race the main event in. That will allow us to sort of bridge this gap so that by next editions we can have women taking part in the main event. So it's very exciting for us to have the inaugural Women's America's Cup in Port Olympic, where obviously there is so much history from a Barcelona perspective, housing the sailing in the 92 Olympics. So it's special for us to be able to come here and bring this, the first ever Women's America's Cup, to Barcelona.
Thanks, Mark. After I will ask him for the Barcelona teams that I think that is important that explain. But before, I would like to repeat the question for Leslie about the rules, the system of competition that means Americans Cup, to try to explain in a few words how run the regatta of because has some special things, and the concept of defender, challengers, etc. Leslie, if you can explain well.
Not so easy to explain. Thank you, Ignacy. Okay, I'll try and make it simple, because I think of it in a very simple way. The America's Cup is always a one-on-one race, one boat against one boat, one team, one nation against the other nation. I mentioned that the winner takes all, and the winner this time is called the defender, and it's Emirates Team New Zealand is the defender. The defender not only gets to write all the rules, but he also gets automatically in the final of the event. So a big prize when you win is you're in the final. All of the other teams that enter are called challengers, and they're ultimately challenging each other to win the right to race against the defender in the final. So the way the competition works, this time so far we have 4 other teams, so 5 teams in total. We have 4 challengers, and maybe we'll have 1 or 2 more before the competition closes out. So in 2024, everything will start on the 22nd of August 2024. The first thing we'll do is have a final preliminary regatta where all the teams will race against each other, one-on-one racing. But it's the first time we'll all get to see the teams racing in the AC75s. So that'll be our kick-off event. And then we start what will probably be a sort of 5-6 week phase of the competition called the Challenger Selection Series. And that's when the Challenger teams race against each other and gradually eliminate each other. There's a quarterfinals, a semi-finals, a finals. And one challenger will emerge to become the challenger of record. No, not the challenger record. To become the challenger that will race against the defender in the finals. And the final stage of the America's Cup is called the America's Cup Match. And that will start on the 12th of October 2024, and that will be between the winning challenger and Emirates Team New Zealand. and that's a best of it's a best of 13 race series, but basically the winner is the first team to win 7 points, 7 races. So it could be 7-0, it could be 7-8, we'll see. So it's an interesting format for the final event.
Thank you, Leslie. Now I would like if Michelle can explain how Alinghi Red Bull will prepare at the same time 3 regattas, young women and big one, and how they have managed all the people who will be involved from the Alinghi.
Thank you. So obviously, the main regatta remain the main regatta. So it's very important, and that's what takes the most time, especially for a new team, because today we have 5. So I just learned that there might be more, and that's very interesting. We'll have a conversation right after. But today we have 5 teams, and of those 5 teams, Alinghi Red Bull Racing is the only one that is new. So we have, and on top of that, the New Zealander had a great idea to put a nationality rule. That means everybody has to be of the same nationality of the team. So we have a team of Swiss people, and by definition, we have young people who haven't yet sailed on those big boats. And so for us, the most important is to get the young kids to get used to sail those big boats, because it's nothing normal. If you think it is normal, you're wrong. It is very complicated. It's a mix between boat and plane, and they have to get used to those things, and that's exactly what we have started to do about 4 weeks ago. And so now, as much as they can, they go on the water, they train every day. Out of that, the people are gathering, the designers are gathering data, a lot of technical input from the sailors, and together they're going to draw, they're going to design the best possible boat for the regatta next year. For the youth and the women, it's slightly different because first of all, we don't have yet those AC40. The first one is gonna arrive for us at New Year time, and so we will at this moment of time launch a campaign in Switzerland to open up and to get people to join the team, boys and women, because the boys is under 25, the women is open-ended in terms of age. And but you might have a woman in the youth, because nothing forbid to have women in the youth. That would be phenomenal, actually. And so we will open a campaign together with Red Bull to suggest to the young people and to the women to come and join, and we will have a selection series of our own to get to a team towards the end of 24 probably. And then 23, sorry. And in 24, we're going to start training on the AC40 and maybe other platforms to get ready for the regatta from end of August. On an AC40, there are only 4 people sailing, so we will have a team of 6 each time to allow for injuries and change or whatever. But so the overlap of the 2 programs is only going to be for later in time. Right now, we're fully focusing on AC75.
Thank you, Michel. And speaking about the youth and women, because Mac is the responsible for, how you can understand all the teams in the main regatta has one team of women and youth. But explain how are you working to get the rest of teams in each regatta?
Written in the protocol, which is the document which governs the America's Cup, is that it is mandatory for each America's Cup team to have a youth and women's team. Beyond that, so we're going to open up the field to 12 teams in each event. So we're going to have automatic entry for a Spanish team in both events, which is very important for us. If you look back at past editions, in 2013, in the youth event, the skipper and the tactician on the New Zealand youth team ended up going on to win in 2017, which I think is evidence that it's the youth event is a great way of developing talent. So I guess an honour we had and an obligation we had to deliver to the city and to Spain for having the event here is that we automatically granted entry to a Spanish team, so that by the time we get to the next edition of the America's Cup, we will have the chances of having a strong Spanish challenge in the main event to add another team, which would be amazing for us as an end result. So beyond the Spanish team and the mandatory entries, we have 6 other teams. So we published the notice of race, which is the legal document binding the youth and women's that was released at the start of this month. And within that is explained that we're opening the entries at the start of November. So we're starting to hear from teams already, some which I was not expecting. I didn't think were traditional sailing countries, which is great. But yeah, so then we're going to start to accept entries, and the entries will close on the 30th of June. So we're looking to add 6 additional teams.
Thank you, Mark. I would like to go in ahead and to ask for a more social subject that from the organizer, from Team New Zealand and Americans Cup events, how you, Leslie, understand that the companies, the society, the all stakeholders in Barcelona have to uh, go to see the Americans Cup. What are the main things that you think that will be good for the society, companies, etc.?
Thanks, Ignacy. We're right in the middle of, or coming actually towards the end of the planning phase of the setup of the event for 2024. Amazing that we have to start 2 years before, but there's a lot of planning and ideas and permits and permissions. We will have our event is a sports event, but it's also an entertainment event. So we're very conscious that we have to put on an entertainment show. You know, we're all customers as well. When we go and attend football or rugby, we expect other things. We want children to be educated and entertained. We want the sponsors to be looked after. So we're in the process of defining all of that right now. We will have a big race village along Mol de la Fusta, just behind the old port building. So I don't know if anyone of you saw the Salon Nautique last week, but all of that area will be a race village with screens and a big stage and exhibits and sustainability zone and sponsor exhibitions. So full of activity there. Obviously you can't see the racing from there, but there will be big screens to watch the racing. But actually one of the biggest benefits of Barcelona is the view that you will have all along the beach from the W Hotel all the way to Port Olympic is going to be directly overlooking the racecourse. So literally sitting on the beach and 200 meters from the shore will be the racing. And it's really, really unusual to find a venue that can deliver that. So we're pretty lucky. We will place some fan engagement zones along, starting with the area to the right of the W Hotel. In front of, along the beaches, we will place some large screens, and also at Port Olympic, where, as Max said, the youth and women will be. So there'll be a lot of engagement zones, places to watch the racing, places to learn more about the Cup, sustainability projects, sponsor projects, etc. So that's the process. We're kind of in our heads right now thinking of all the audiences that are going to come, from the people who live in Barcelona to visitors from further away in Catalonia and Spain, but also all of the international visitors, sponsors, media. What are they after? And we make sure we put the right facilities in place to look after them.
Michel, as well, in the same sense, Alinghi has arrived here for 4 or 5 months. How you see the city? How are these first months in Barcelona? And what things do you think that is good to prepare if you want to give an advice, an advisory at the administration, at city council, etc. How you see the city when you arrive here, and what is this advice?
So we've been here for a while, and I think I said it before, the first months were really dedicated to get the people settled. It's not always easy because sometimes the people don't speak the language and everything. So obviously there is a lot of things to be done, a lot of administrative things to be done. Now, in terms of our recommendation to the authorities or so, I wish we could give any recommendation, but I think the main one is to really realize what does it mean to have an America's Cup team. And I say it again, you have a mass of people, so we're talking about hundreds of people in each team, with the families, the kids and everything. People that are coming, that are settling in, that are using the facility of the cities, that are I mean, let's be realistic, spending money at schools, in the restaurants, organizing parties, organizing events for their sponsor, for the media. And so the advantage to get the people, the team, as early as possible is phenomenal. And so the authority should try to help as much as possible for the people to settle early easily, because what we need is to be here and think about nothing else but organizing what we have to do. It's a very focused event, a very focused job. So I think we are very much helped by the local. We need Madrid to follow you, and when we'll have Madrid to follow you, then the thing will be much better for everybody. But I mean, they are already great, obviously. And if I can give one advice to the people of Barcelona, when it come to the time of the race, come to the Alinghi or racing race, because it's going to be nice, and there's going to be some things organized for the general public as well.
Thank you, Michel. This question that in terms of responsible, but as well personally, is one thing that one day how this in Barcelona, in this space of a community day, means that for us is important. How do you think that we have to do this? And in the case of Mac, that is as well that the first person from the New Zealand team, I want to repeat as well the question after 4 or 5 months here, living in Barcelona, working in Barcelona every day, having relations with every day. How do you see the city? What will be the recommendation that for the city do you want to give?
The city, for an international person, and I'm sure so many of you will understand, it's so welcoming. It's been super welcoming to the event. I'm not sure if I could give a definitive answer for what to do. They seem to be pursuing all the endeavors, but I think just to keep an open mind, like this event, the people are so happy to be here, and we love becoming a part of Barcelona. And I think our priority as ACE, and I'm sure the teams share this, is that we don't want to intrude on life in Barcelona. We very much want the city to become a part of the event, and so we have certain programs that we'll announce. We're taking inspiration from the 92. We will have some kind of a volunteer program, because we want to sort of not only involve the international community but the people that live in Barcelona. So I guess just keeping an open mind and joining in on everything that's going on, because this, as much as it's here for an international audience, it's also here for you as people from Barcelona. We want to be a distinctly Barcelona event.
Thank you, Mark. Then I would like to open these last 10-12 minutes to prepare some questions for them. If somebody wants to make some question for Leslie or Michel or Mark.
Yes, I'm not sure what an appropriate question is. This is fantastic to think of sitting here next to all you folks, but the America's Cup. But I'm just wondering about products or involvement by people in Barcelona as far as picking up the America's Cup logo, putting it on their things, officially sanctioned, whatever. For example, you've got long-standing culture of Irish pubs in the town. As far as viewing potentials, I don't know if wine could be labeled. Is this part of that, or is there? I don't know if you could just talk about that.
A great question. We're, and in fact, it's probably more of a Mac area than me, but in terms of discussions with sponsors, suppliers, partner relationships, that's something we're doing at the moment, and we're very welcome of any business that wants to be involved in supplying product to the Cup and being involved either with the teams or with the event. Obviously, as you can imagine, we have to have a level of control of where we put the logo. So we are working right now on a merchandising program. So we'll have the official America's Cup shops, and they will sell merchandise from caps and T-shirts and all of those other great things, as long as also with the team merchandise. so any business or ideas that people have, I love your ideas of Irish pubs because I'm Irish. We, ideally, I want to walk around the city and pubs say, proud to support the America's Cup and, have a campaign. And that's something we're just starting actually with the foundation, working on a communications campaign around the city. So lots more to come, but, really good question. Thank you.
I would like to add only a few words that we are working together with the organizer to prepare a program of cultural events, and we will try to have 4 or 5 months with different events connecting with the competition in the cultural world.
Kia ora, I'm a Kiwi with an Irish passport. I parlo català perquè visc aquí des del 81. In the Olympic Games, there was a kind of organization where local people could offer, like, to help people, sports people, athletes, visitors. Is there anything like that? Like, do you have any visions about that? I mean,
First of all, I haven't met many Kiwis that can ramble off some Spanish that quickly, so very very nice. I'm jealous, but I would say the best way is the volunteer program, which we don't have the sort of concrete details. I think we need to get a bit more meat on the bone around that, but I think watch our website because we'll be announcing something around all that. And again, as I said before, that's going to be our main means of engaging the city, and there's going to be 2 elements to that. One's going to be onshore, which will probably make up the brunt of the people, and then there'll be a bit on water as well of those volunteers. So there should be ample opportunity, not only for the international community, but also the people from Barcelona.
Yeah, sure that we will take advantage of our experience with the Olympic Games to build a hard system of volunteers, and with the New Zealand team. Sure that we will do.
You mentioned there is hundreds of families, not just thousands of people coming to Barcelona. Question, is there any initiatives in place to help those people get temporary housing facilities for that period and that they be here? Because they come for maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months.
Thank you for the question. So, I mean, as a team, I answer obviously as a team. So what we did is when we arrived, we identified an agency that helped our team members to look for apartments. And actually, in our case, it's a way longer time span than what you suggested, because we are on a rather 2 years, 2.5 years looking ahead. Rather, obviously, there will be people coming at a later stage. I know that some other team have different point of view, but for us, it was important to look for the long run. So people have taken apartment for the long run. Maybe they're going to move around because getting to know the city, changing a little bit their way of approaching the city. Maybe they're going to move, but the people mostly looked at the long run, and for that we gave them a help. We always let the team members responsible for it, because we think it's very important that they create their own life. It's very intense. You're all day long working. If in the evening you are again all together somewhere, then you get to hate everybody. So there is a sort of a freedom so everybody choose their own accommodation.
I just wanted to know who or where should any of us address to if we're interested in promoting anything or related to the cup. I mean, I see there are several entities, no? I see Barcelona, but who would be in charge of, interfacing with the community or with different companies in trying to access the event?
So the official organizer of the America's Cup is America's Cup Event Barcelona. So Mac and I work for that business, but we work very closely with Ignacy and the foundation. So the foundation represents the host venue and everything, and we represent the event, and we work. We kind of can't survive without each other because we need the event and the host to work together. In terms of things like the volunteer program, exactly that example, we will work together on that initiative. We have experience of running volunteer programs at previous America's Cups, and Ignacy and the foundation have an understanding of the city and the region and how people can engage. we're also working together to put together a business directory, if I can use that term. Basically, the teams and the event, when we arrive here, we all, as Michel said, we want to engage with local partners. We buy things locally. So, where do we start? For the event, for example, I need to buy security. And I want to be able to go into a directory and dial in security and say, okay, here's 10 companies. So we're going to open up a business directory where businesses can register their interest to be involved in being a supplier to the teams or the event. And that's something we're working on now. So the answer to your question is both, but we're event organizers, and Ignacy is the host venue.
Hi, thank you for your time. So Leslie and Mackenzie, I guess the question I would ask you is just what are the biggest challenges you think will be over the next 2 years for this event to be successful? And then Michelle, I can't help but ask you, but also, what do you think the biggest challenge for your team is going to be, just out of curiosity? Thank you.
I guess the biggest challenges are just the time things take to get planning in place, to get permissions in place, to get the right structures in place for fans to be able to watch from various venues. To really, and that's where we're really lucky with the foundation, to understand the culture here, because we're not from here. So how do people like to engage in events? From what I've seen, living here for 2 months, people go out, you eat late in the evening and you like to go out very late. So I'm getting used to that, but that's something that the event has to reflect as well. So, we're not going to be racing at 10 o'clock in the morning because frankly, it's better if we race at 5 o'clock in the evening. So they're the challenges, designing the event from the experience we know, and then adjusting it to suit this venue and all the people that are going to come, not only from Barcelona but from internationally. And another part is also really making this event relevant to the people of Barcelona and the region of Catalan, making people understand why this event is important, why they should come and watch, how can they engage, how can they benefit. Again, it's really, that's why we're here 2 years out, to really integrate ourselves into the society so that we can understand it.
Okay, so for us, obviously, it's slightly different. I mean, the first challenge, we sort of made it because now we have, as I said, about 100 people, 100 families settled here in Barcelona. But now the challenge will be to master the boat and to design the best possible boat to go against the Kiwi, and then we'll see. May the best win.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to finish with two things. One is one video that now I will explain. And before to say thank you at Leslie and Michelle and Mac. Uh, they are the best. They are working very, very well as organizers. Sincerely, they are in the top of the competition sport in the Americans Cup, but as well as organizers. The relation is excellent with the host, and we are convinced that will be a big success. All. Thank you for the questions, because I think that is a very good form to answer how we are involved together. In the video, you can see, if we can see, that we have the sport, the main sport of Americans Cup below, but after we have a country and a city with the image, and for me it's a good form to show that we are working in a very important event with all involved, the citizens, the administrations, and the organizers. Thank you very much.